Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today is a very exciting day because today is not Wednesday, but it is Brawl's Day officially on Magic Arena. Yes, Wizards of the Coast have finally done the right thing temporarily, and they've added Historic Brawl as a place where you can go to do your dailies. Festival, Erebos' Memoir of Death. So I think this is because they have themselves the new historic anthology. They want to celebrate a little bit by giving us access to maybe the best format on Magic Arena. And while we're doing it, we can get ourselves some sweet card styles. Not that one, that one's awful. But these ones, the actual card styles that matter, the constellations for Timuret and Erebos. Two cards that don't see that much play. Timuret in Mono Black Devotion, I suppose, but not much outside of it. And Erebos that sees virtually no play, I would say. But still, it's nice to have the full collection of the constellations, and that's exactly what I'm going for. But I'm actually paying into this one. I think it was 500 gold, 2,000... No, sorry, 500 gems, 2,500 gold. I've already paid into it, so I can't quite remember. Something like that. It's worth the cost of admission, in my personal opinion, just to play this particular event and get access to these sweet styles. You can't expect them for free after all. So, yep, Historic Brawl is going to be Brawl Singleton, as many of you will already know. However, we get access to every single card that is currently accessible on Magic Arena to play around with. So we're going to be playing a deck that we've played on the channel once before, and it's one of my personal favourites, and I think it's probably up there as far as competitive goes. Where is it gone? It's somewhere. It's hiding. It's everyone's favourite Moldy Girl. So today we're going to be revisiting a deck that I think we've played once on the channel before. That's going to be Muldrotha the Gravetide, which I think is just a fantastic historic commander. This one's going to play a little bit differently to how you might expect, in that we're not actually trying to mill our graveyard in any way to enable Muldrotha. Muldrotha is kind of there as a piece that we play once we've got the value already established. So we're playing a very mid-range game. We're just going to be answering whatever our opponent's doing with whatever we've got in play at the time. So things like Eldest Reborn to kill our opponent's creatures, Phyrexian Arena for card advantage. There's a lot of kill your opponent's creatures kind of stuff here, and it's going to be building up the graveyard as we go, just giving Muldrotha value later down the line. New inclusions from the Historic Anthology are actually the cycling land, so we got Barren Moor and Tranquil Thicket. There is a blue cycling land, but I thought that might be a little bit overkill, to be honest. Way too many tap lands, and we'd probably just get outrun by anyone who tries to play aggro, essentially. But we did get ourselves the extra temple as well, so you know, we are adding more tap lands into the deck, so we might be a little bit slow today. We'll have to see. We've also got Ghost Quarter as well, which can help us against the 5-colour decks, things like Niv Mizzet and Kenrith. If our opponents are playing them, they're likely to have a very greedy mana base, so we can use Muldrotha every single turn to bring back Ghost Quarter and hit our opponent's lands, hopefully strip mining them if they're a Niv Mizzet deck. I know from personal experience, whenever I build one of them, I only have like 2 or 3 basics actually left in the deck by the time I'm finished building it, because it is very demanding in a singleton format that you have as many jewels as possible, so there's a good chance that Ghost Quarter can just win us the game on the spot with the Muldrotha, which is going to be quite interesting. Also hits Field of the Dead as well, which we are running in our own deck, because we're only running 6 basics, and they are the only lands that are going to be in multiples of, so we should be able to enable Field of the Dead really easily, to be honest, so we'll have to see how we go with that. We've got Maya's Grasp from Theros. I should mention as well, I haven't played this deck since Theros and Historic Anthology 2 was added, so every inclusion that you're going to see here is from that time period, essentially. I haven't gone back to see if old cards would really work. I'm just going to assume that they don't and play it out, so if you've got any suggestions, by all means leave them in the comment section below. I might have had them in the deck previously and ended up cutting them to make room for some new things, because it's always nice to test new cards and come back with a brand new deck. We've got Uro, who goes into the graveyard as well. We can use this just as a 3-mana 6/6, or a 3-mana growth spiral, as it were, with Muldrotha. We don't actually have to escape Uro if we really don't want to, but if we've got some excess cards in there that we're not casting with Muldrotha, then the option's available to us as well. But I think a 3-mana growth spiral every turn's not actually the worst thing in the world, especially when you've got nothing better to do with your turn. We've got Maelstrom Pulse, which is about the only thing that doesn't synergize with Muldrotha, but I think it's just a really nice powerful removal spell. Destroy a non-land permanent, and all permanents, all permanents with the same name as that permanent. So we're not going to get like double value on this, but it's an Assassin's Trophy that doesn't give our opponent a land, which I think is a major downside for an early game removal spell like Assassin's Trophy. So trading up for Maelstrom Pulse essentially, just to be able to answer absolutely anything our opponent's got that makes us worry. We've got Atris, Oracle of Hearth Truths as well. Just really solid mana value really solid value engine here. Atris allows our opponent to look at the top 3 cards of our library and separate them into 2 piles, one face up, one face down, and then we choose the best one. And then the other goes into our graveyard, which is just perfectly fine, since Muldrotha can actually just take whatever our opponent puts into the graveyard anyway, so long as it's not like an instant or sorcery, which we're running very few of them in this deck. Almost everything in this list is actually a permanent, which can be pulled back with Muldrotha, and Acolyte of Affliction, which is another inclusion as well. Milling 2 over, good again for Muldrotha, and then allows us to recur permanents. There's a lot of ways for us to get Muldrotha back out of our graveyard as well, so it's not actually the worst thing in the world if she dies, just to put her in the graveyard to get her for later. We got Acolyte of Affliction to get her back. We got the Eldest Reborn. Used to have Tamiyo in here, but I swapped it out for an Acolyte of Affliction. I think it's just probably a little bit more useful. You can occasionally get like the guess of a lifetime with Tamiyo, but I don't know. I think it's pretty much rolling the dice and hoping that something sticks. We got Fine Finality as well as a little bit of recursion there. So it's something to keep in mind if you do want to put your Muldrotha in the graveyard. It's an option. Probably wouldn't go with it very often, but it's there. Eat to Extinction, I think, is just a little bit better than Vraska's Contempt, so we ended up swapping that one out, especially in this particular deck as well. It's less restrictive on the mana cost, as well as actually putting a card from the top of our library into our graveyard, likely to enable Muldrotha a little bit more as well, and if we just don't like it, we can top deck something different. Again, getting rid of some really high value things like Planeswalkers is pretty important. And we've got the Gitrog monster. And we've got something very special coming up. But the Gitrog monster was a new inclusion as well from the previous Brawl event that we don't speak of. 5 mana 6/6 at the beginning of your upkeep. You sacrifice the Gitrog monster unless you sacrifice a land. So we're putting lands in the graveyard for Muldrotha just to pull back. And we get to play additional land drops on each of our turns as well. So if we've drawn extra cards and we have extra cards in our hand, which should be happening a lot, from memory this deck draws quite a lot of cards, so should be okay with that. We can actually play lands from our graveyard with Muldrotha, so we could do things like Ghost Quarter lock our opponent. I've put it up here, haven't I? So we could play Ghost Quarter out of our graveyard with the Gitrog monster, which is pretty nice as well. So yeah, we can eventually just run our opponent out of non-basics and leave our opponent with very little mana, really restrictive mana. It's an option available to us. I think it's just a nice power engine all the same though, because we're going to be sacking lands with Vraska as well, so, you know, we'll see what happens. Ashiok, Sculptor of Fears is the last card from the newest sets that we're going to be including. It's the Planeswalker deck Ashiok, but it looks pretty fun, so we're running it. 6 mana for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker. You tick up 2 to draw a card, and then put the top 2 cards of each player's library into their graveyard, so filling that up for Muldrotha to use. But also, after you've ticked up with Ashiok, you actually do have the tick down available, which allows you to reanimate from either graveyard as well. So if your opponent's running some big boys, then you can reanimate their nonsense, similar to Eldest Reborn in that sense as well. So getting to put our opponent's creatures onto the battlefield could be pretty important if they've got things like Agent of Treachery. Could be quite fun. And if we manage to somehow get to the ult, which I highly doubt, but it's definitely a thing, we get to gain control of all creatures our opponent controls and just probably swing for lethal with whatever we've got established. But yeah, that is essentially what we're playing with today. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully it does quite well. I imagine it's going to do pretty decently. Muldrotha's a pretty hard commander to mess up, to be honest, as long as you're working with the permanence matter synergy in mind anyway. Not running too many instants and sorceries, then you can get some solid value on Muldrotha. As I mentioned, we're not going to be self-milling, so the likelihood is that we're not going to be casting Muldrotha very often. Maybe our opponent's expecting us to do it on turn 6, and we just do something different instead. Time will tell as to whether or not that pays off, but Yeah, she's got some really good synergy with the deck anyway. Like, she can recur board wipes. Phyrexian Scriptures destroys all non-artifact creatures. She can also get a counter on herself and turn herself into an artifact, so she doesn't get attacked by the Scriptures. We can play creatures out of our yard, which gets rid of creatures and planeswalkers with Bladecrafter. There's just so much we can do here. There's going to be a lot of fun. Even like sticking enchantments onto Muldrotha, like Journey to Eternity and Kaya's Ghost Form, make her practically indestructible. If your opponent gets rid of your Muldrotha before they get rid of Kaya's Ghost Form or Journey to Eternity, then they're going to have to deal with your entire deck getting reanimated every turn, which is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of stuff to do with that, minus like Voracious Hydra, only going to be good when Muldrotha pulls it out. But that is the deck. Let's get into some gameplay, shall we? Let's see what we can do. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button below the video or check out the Patreon link down in the description below. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we're in, and I think this hand's fine. It needs some blue mana, but everything else should be okay. I think Thrashing Brontodon against our opponent's deck could be pretty useful as well, so let's go for it. We've got the Temple of Milady as well, so if we can find a blue source off that, then we are golden. Otherwise, probably just Wolf Willowhaven and see where we go from there. Leyline Prowler. That is blue mana, technically. I guess so. I guess that's okay. So we'll go Forest, Wolf, Willowhaven, turn after that, Leyline Prowler. Our opponent's playing a Layla Artful Provocateur, so it's going to give us some time to do some stuff. We do need to answer a Layla as and when she comes down, which is definitely going to be an issue with this current hand, but we'll see what we can do. So whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment, you put a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Pretty good when you consider that we've just had an Enchantment Matters set. And Layla definitely very powerful. And a lot of fun to play as well. But if you can answer a Layla a lot of the time, then there's a good chance that they can't really do a great deal. Okay, well, we're just going to go Forest and Leyline Prowler here. Get that blue mana going. And I don't know what we want to do from here, really. Depends on what we top deck, because I kind of really want to play Uro and get him going, but at the same time... Oh, wow, that's really good. Yeah, at the same time I want to play Witching Well. Okay, so let's go Witching Well. Opponent playing Heliod, which not doing anything right now. And then we got Kaya's Ghost Form. Alright, I'm really liking the look of this now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them both on top like that. And then we're going to play Uro, guaranteeing that we now hit a land to put into play. So we've got a good little bit of ramp there. And then next turn we've got Kaya's Ghost Form, which we can attach to something here, which is going to be very nice. Opponent then can't really deal with our board state. So this should leave us with, yeah, 1 black mana to stick Kaya's Ghost Form on Muldrotha. So let's get that on Muldrotha. That she's now a 6/6 that if she ever gets removed before Kaya's Ghost Form gets removed, then they've got a problem. So really in a good spot here. We can actually go Thrashing Brontodon, sack it, while it's got a Journey to Eternity attached to it. This is a nice little combo that I used to play around Ixalan time. So you play Thrashing Brontodon, you attach Journey to it, and then you activate Thrashing Brontodon to destroy the Journey to Eternity. But this dies first, which triggers Journey first, which means there's no legal target to destroy this, and it transforms. It's pretty cool. Opponent with all the gods. Definitely a problem up until the point where we find Kenrith's transformation. And then it stops being a problem. So let's just turn a Layla into a 3/3 Elk. There we go. We've got Temple of Deceit. So I guess we'll go Temple here. a Raska Relic. I don't think we want a Raska Relic. We're going to play Uro out of the graveyard. And... Yep, that one right there. We're not going to escape it. I'm just going to keep playing it. Got Acolyte of Affliction. Okay. And yeah, I think we are sending... How do we want to do this? Yeah, I guess we're sending both. It's like they can attack back for 7. But we're attacking for 8, so it kind of works out. Yeah, get some chump blocks off of them. They can pay 2 life, draw a card, that's fine. Can't use Thrashing Brontodon to get rid of an indestructible enchantment. It's pretty good that this goes off of any creature. Ethereal Absolution. Alright, well, we already have the answer to that. So let's get that answered, shall we? So we're going to go Thrashing Brontodon. Get that into play. We're going to then Journey to Eternity the Thrashing Brontodon. So that when it dies, it comes right on back. We're going to kill Ethereal Absolution. Trigger Journey to Eternity. So it comes back as a land, which we can use to reanimate. And then we've got a Gilded Goose, I guess. Might be the play. I think we'll get in with our Muldrotha, see if they want to block with a Layla. They might want to double block, but Kaya's Ghost Form will come right on back, and then we can just recast it. Yep, so they get rid of a Layla. All we have to do is reattach the enchantment to our next turn anyway, so it's really not an issue. So we'll just play Gilded Goose and pass the turn. So opponent has to tap completely out to play a Layla. And this is kind of why we're really in no issue of what our opponent's doing with their Layla, because every time they do this, I'm just going to turn it into an Elk. Alright, so we have a Swamp. Keep that in mind for now. We're going to draw a card off of Kenrith's Transformation. It's a 3/3 now. Opponent's not going to be able to pay 2 life on Erebos forever. I think the game might have broken. I believe the game has broken. So my deck tracker just disappeared. Huh. That's maybe them scooping, because we are pretty much locking them out of the game here. Muldrotha will always attach the transformation to a Layla, which means every time we turn it into a 3/3, our opponent will be essentially forced to block it so that they can use their build-around card. And at that point, it costs 2 more, they tap out for the entire turn, I just replay transformation. So their commander does not work in this situation, and all they do is spend the entire time replaying this, or just playing enchantments that are just not going to do much here. They need, like, double, like, Banishing Lights for Muldrotha here, and in response to, like, 1 Banishing Light, we can Thrashing Brontodon one of the Banishing Lights. So if they go for, like, remove Kaya's Ghost Form with enchantment removal, which is likely what they're going to be running, and then they go for more enchantment removal to get rid of Muldrotha, we kill in response, Kaya's Ghost Form comes back, we attach it to Muldrotha, and then they have to basically go for Kaya's Ghost Form, at which point we recast Thrashing Brontodon out of the graveyard and do it all over again. We're pretty much in a hard lock situation, so it's just kind of a matter of time until we win the game, and I think our opponent knows that. So, game has crashed, we're just going to go to the next game. Alrighty, we are in with, I think, a hand that looks pretty decent. We're up against Kumena, Tyrant of Araska, 3 mana 2/4 Merfolk Lord, effectively. It's a Merfolk utility card, most of all. But it gives lots of abilities based on what you want to do, how many Merfolk you want to tap. So 3 Merfolk being tapped, including himself, if you really want to. You get to draw a card. When you get to 5, you get to spew forth thousands of dice to pump up your boys. I think with the Phyrexian Scriptures in our hand, though, it's kind of hard to lose this matchup. So we're going to keep this. Like, we've got Vraska Answers, we've got Scripture Answers, we've got Finality. All the board wipes in the world for a creature matchup. So we're going to keep this one. We're going first as well, so we can lead off with a Temple. Let's go with Milady. Tip the hat to our opponent. Yarok, probably not. I'd rather have some ramp here. Oh yeah, for the record, when I did actually boot up the game once again, it did register as a win. So our opponent did scoop in that situation for the last game, which is kind of cool. Yeah, let's just take all the lands. I think just making land drops is fine here. We want to get to 4 mana anyway. River Snack. Alright, opponent's got the new basics, which I find meh. It's just me, I suppose, but not a fan of them. Alright, Overgrown Tomb, tapped, go. So let's see if they want to tap out, maybe. If they do, then we get to go Phyrexian Scriptures. And they're not likely to want to play into Phyrexian Scriptures here. So we're probably just getting a 2-for-1, but it's a 2-for-1 that is only a 2-for-1 for now. When we got Muldrotha, we can keep replaying it. And we've also got Find Finality as well. So we can play that on 6 instead of Muldrotha if we're really desperate. And we should be able to kill pretty much everything. So our opponent's deciding now whether or not they want to play into a board wipe. I think it's a bad idea, opponent. So yeah, they're going to go with Deeproot Waters. I think that's a fantastic idea. Tap land, hit me for 3, and we blow up the world. More Mana Rocks is fantastic, actually. That's what we really want to see. We want to be ramping right out into Muldrothas and whatnot. We've got Eldest Reborn for 1 creature. Exiling our opponent's graveyard, not that it matters. But maybe they've got, what's the name of that card? Once and Forever? Something like that? Graveyard Recursion, anyway. There's like Pulse and Morasses and whatnot. So it could be somewhat relevant. Somehow I doubt it, though. So our opponent can't Spell Pierce Muldrotha, but they can Spell Pierce as replaying Phyrexian Scriptures over and over again, but they can only do it once, so... You know, once we got the Muldrotha out, we should be all good. We just want to see our opponent tap out of their blue so that we don't get attacked with nasties. Mirror Regery, there we go. Attack with nasties like Tail's End, Boo, Hiss. So we got a tap land here, so we're not going to be using Finality here, I don't think. Although it's not a bad Finality. Yeah, I guess it might be Finality. It's just if we went with Scriptures, we're likely to put the counter on Muldrotha before we put it on the Paradise Druid, so I guess we're just going to go with this. Take action, not that it matters. Yeah, that one. It's going to die anyway. So is our opponent's board. Alright, Cumena coming down for 5 mana. This is our opportunity to play Muldrotha. Even got Cryptic Caves as a card advantage engine. And that should really do it. I have a hard time seeing them beat Phyrexian Scriptures over and over and over again. They might be up to Tempoers, I guess. But they can never really commit more than like 1 or 2 things to the board at a time. So like, if they play another creature here, they can put counters on all their stuff and get 1 big hit in, but that's probably the last big hit they're going to get. Unless, of course, they do have the counter for the Scriptures, and then they bought themselves some time for sure. Atris. Okay, so... Enchantment. Scriptures. Playing around Syncopates and whatnot. We're going to put a counter on Muldrotha, which turns her into an artifact, which means she doesn't die to the Phyrexian Scriptures. And then we'll take the last of our mana to just play a nice blocker here. It will die, but so will our opponent's stuff, so it's just a nice little blocker. Cumena can tap 3 here to draw a card, if they really want to. Maybe they got Brazen Borrower, you never know. Alright, Swift Warden. I think this might be a last-ditch effort. So they're going to tap 5 to put counters on things. And then they get 1 big hit in. And Scriptures gets rid of everything. So yeah, it is a big hit, not going to lie. It's going to do a lot of damage. They're actually like, Forerunner mana as well. Hendra's Forerunners, I think. Is it 7 mana? Something like that. That could do a lot of damage. I think they might just go for card draw, though. But I don't see how they beat Scriptures. I really don't. Can even do like double Vraska as well, so everything in their deck's likely to be like mana cost 3 or less here. So I could do Vraska minus Cumena if for some reason they manage to get rid of the Scriptures. And then if we... Oh, we've already got the Paradise Druid, so assuming Scriptures is gone, we've got 8 mana here. Then I can do Spark double Vraska and get rid of another one. So yeah, right, we're going in. Let's just block the max amount of damage. Like so. Losing Paradise Druid anyway. Opponent shouldn't really commit anything to the board here that dies to Scriptures, so they got a Shadow Spear. They have a dead board. And we're just gonna start replaying loads of stuff, I think. So let's go with Vraska first. Play around Spell Pierce, use that to get rid of Deep-Root Waters so that they don't get 2-for-1s on creatures. Pathetic. If she dies somehow, we can replay her from the graveyard. And then we'll go with Paradise Druid here, I think. And I think we can safely swing for 7. They do have Flash Merfolk, but I don't think it's really an issue when we've got a Paradise Druid. Back to block. Entrancing Melody, okay. It's a thing, alright. Is this own or control? Control. Alright, so we're just going to go Eldest Reborn and get it back. Kill Muldrotha. I would like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want it in my command zone. I'm gonna play Gilded Goose. And we're gonna tick up Vraska.
An unfortunate casualty.
I think we can get rid of the food, right? We can get rid of the Gilded Goose, actually. Let's just get rid of the Gilded Goose. Gain a little bit of life. Yeah, make a land drop. That's what you love to see. Alright, and we're going to game with Paradise Druid. They're tapped out, and if they really want to get rid of Paradise Druid, they have the ability to get rid of Hexproof on her anyway, so it's not a thing that we need to concern ourselves with. Tails End's the most annoying thing that can happen here. So yeah, back to being pretty much locked out of this game. And they finally realise it. Alright, solid performance from this deck. I think that would be a lovely 2-0. If we count in the crashed game, which I think we are, because the game did. We've now got ourselves a lovely Timuret cosmetic. Love these Constellation arts. I wish all card styles would be this kind of high-effort energy card style, because I think these ones are just so low effort. I get why they're pushing them out, but they're not worth anything. They're really horrible. Ugh. Blech. Anyway, let's go for another game. Alrighty then, we're in, and this hand looks pretty good. We've got Golgari mana for the Leyline Prowler, which then opens up the full Sultai for Uro and Witching Well. So I think this one's a nice little keep for us here. We're going up against Sakama Primal Calamity, which is not one I've actually seen at all, to be honest. So I really like this event because people are actually playing decks that I haven't seen before, which is weird because, like, arenabrawl.net has been open for so long, but I guess they just don't... Small quantities of people don't get too creative. I don't know. But, yeah. It's going to be an interesting one. Naya Dinos, no, most likely. It's going to be interesting to see why they went Zakama over, like, Gishath, since Gishath can get Dinos out of your deck for swinging through, which is pretty sweet. Did I say we didn't have Golgari mana? We have Command Tower. We have all the mana we could ever want. I should have actually led off with Woodland Cemetery here, maybe, but we'll go with... This one's an interesting little pile. I don't know if we want either of these. Finality just doesn't seem like it's going to hit many dinos. We need like hard removal, like our Chupacabra, and Gitrog Monster's an early piece now. Not been too impressed with Gitrog Monster in this deck, if I'm completely honest. I think he might not be quite the perfect fit. I think he needs a little bit more of the deck being built around him specifically to really make it work. Temple of Abaddon. It's abandoned. Abaddon sounds cooler. Alright, well, let's go with Cryptic Caves, Leyline Prowler. And then we got... God, we're spoiled for choice on our next move. It's all going to depend on what our opponent does here, of course. If they play like a Mana Dork to get towards that Zakama, then we definitely want to murder it. That's not a Mana Dork. It's a Mana Retriever, but not quite the same. Ooh, Kenny's Transformation. This thing hasn't got haste, so we can shut down our opponent's Zakama big time, which is going to be fun. Alright, so... there's not really much reason for us to actually kill the Rejuvenator nor swing in for 2 necessarily right now, so I'm just going to go with Uro and hope for a land drop. Good stuff. Alright, we can get Ashiok's Sculptor of Fears down maybe next turn. Allows us to mill over our opponent's deck and get some big bad boys, maybe? We'll see. The card advantage might just run away with this game, though, if we're uncontested for a long time. Just going to go up to 6 loyalty as well, so there's not a lot of burn spells that are really going to make too much of an impact there. Ripjaw Raptor, though. He's a big boy. That is a big boy. Do we just play Ashiok anyway and start milling? It's going to go down to 2, so it's going to be a while till we can actually make use out of it. I think we actually just go with Chupacabra. So Arcane Signet, Chupacabra, stop any card draw that might come from Enrage synergies, and then we'll get in for 2. It's not quite the time for Ashiok, it seems. But next turn we do have Ashiok, potentially hit a land into defend with Kenrith's Transformation. We have Chupacabra just as a nice chump blocker as well. Maybe not right now, but fun's hovering. Carney T. Alright, well we can't target that, but we can Death Touch it, so that's fine. So we're going to go Ashiok. And we're going to start ticking up. Drawing a card, milling over each of our graveyards. We've got a land and a Phyrexian Scriptures in ours. And they've got a land, a Ripjaw Raptor, and an Arcane Signet. Lava Coil, Leyline Prowler. Oof. That is an oof. And Questing Beast, good lord. Okay. So, yeah, let's just take it all. We can't really do anything about it. Questing Beast is not blockable by Chupacabra here, and Trample obviously is not going to help us, because Questing Beast hits us, deals 4 to Ashiok as well. Rip Ashiok. Opponent's on some sick mid-range. Is it Muldrotha here? Could be. Could also be just Yarok. I think maybe we'll go with Muldrotha. I just want to know if it's going to survive. It'd be nice if it did, you know? We're going to be taking a little bit of a hit, and then we've got Phyrexian Scriptures, so we can blow up Carnage Tyrant and Questing Beast here, maybe even get... Oh, come on! Oh my god, they're way ahead of me. Alright, well, Command Zone. Yeah, we don't stand a chance at this rate. We just cannot win. If our opponent keeps up this absolutely insane advantage. So let's do Yarok. And I guess we're going with Kenrith's Transformation. Don't want to do it, but I kind of have to do it. Turn Questing Beast into a 3/3 we can block. Draw 2. Tranquil Thicket to cycle. And then virtually everything in my hand costs way more than it should because of Elspeth Conquers Death. Really? Oh my god. Opponent is insane. Alright, well, we're trading Carney... No, we're not trading Carney T off because of Conquer's Death. Ugh. No blocks. Can't stop, won't stop. I'm just going to cycle this thicket and lose, is what I'm going to do. I just don't know what you could possibly do in this scenario. I could Spark Double... Kill Questing Beast. That doesn't seem worthwhile. Yeah, I guess we gotta go Vraska and hope for the best. Could sack Cryptic Caves first, though. Guess that's maybe worth a look-see. I just don't know what we could draw. Plaguecraft is definitely not an option. All it does is get rid of a Rejuvenator. Although, if we went Paradise Druid... Oh, we're literally the tax away from doing it. I was thinking Paradise Druid, Maya's Grasp Rejuvenator. We only have to deal with Elspeth Conquers Death at that point, but we get the double trigger on the Plaguecrafter, but... It's just going to leave our opponent with Carnage Tyrant that comes back. Yeah, I don't see how we can win. I really don't. Every single move we make is just not adequate. Let's get rid of a Swamp. Journey to Eternity. Okay. Well, it's not going to be good enough because we're just trading off like crazy. They've got a Ripjaw Raptor now. Yeah, wow. Just didn't stand a chance. So, let's see what they're going to do here. Well, blocking. It's Death Touch, so it's going to die. It's just whether or not I want to keep 2 loyalty. I don't think I care. Vraska can do essentially everything already. Vivian Reed, digging for creatures and whatnot.
My newest friend.
So I can Journey to Eternity on Ravenous Chupacabra, sack Chupacabra to trigger it with Vraska, get rid of Ripjaw Raptor, and draw a card.
On what's about to happen.
Netting a little bit of mana, killing you. And then we've got maybe Spark Double or Eat to Extinction on Vivian. I think Vivian's actually the bigger problem here. So let's get that problem solved. Into the graveyard. Don't need any more lands just yet. Here comes the Karma, which is completely free. Kills everything that I hold dear. Into a hasty Ceratops, which is exactly enough to kill me. Wow. Wowie, we just got Ruffle Stomped. Huh. We just could not gain any kind of advantage. We were on the back foot that entire game. Everything our opponent played was a powerhouse card. And we were answering them, but every powerhouse just followed by another powerhouse, even like Rejuvenator, ended up being a powerhouse card, ramping them out into good stuff, keeping our Plaguecrafter from being good, because everything they played, apart from that Rejuvenator, was a good Plaguecrafter target. But just having this out stopped us from doing anything to our opponent, and they just... yeah. That was just not even close. Alrighty then, we are in with decent mana, so we're going to keep this one, I think. We got early removal for mana dorks against our opponent's stuff. It's not a great hand with fine finality, but Phyrexian Scriptures could do something decent. We're going to keep it. Opponent's playing Gishath, Sun's Avatar, 5 mana and 3 Naya colors. That's a good top deck, I guess. Mana dorks, mana dorks, mana dorks. I think that might be okay. That could be okay. We're going to keep it. I think we've got enough removal that we shouldn't have to need to interact much more than we're already doing. Anyway, a 7/6 Vigilant Trampling Haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, you reveal from the top of your library equal to the amount of damage you dealt, and then put any number of dinosaurs from among them onto the battlefield. It's an absurd card. Our opponent's got Zakama. And yeah, we're taking advantage of these mana rocks just a little bit here. Let's go Arcane Signet and ramp ourselves up. Waiting for that opportunity to actually use some of our good cards here. I think if we can get early Muldrotha, it means early Great Henge, and we can maybe do something good from there. So our opponent does have the Seer, which we are going to kill. Get rid of any mana ramp. We don't want our opponent to do it. We're the only ones allowed to ramp. So we'll play the Mind Stone, and then if we get an untapped land next turn, we've got Muldrotha. We get to hold up and Maya's Grasp. Opponent's very close to just doing what they want to do anyway. Guardian Project. We got an Uro. Okay, so we're going to play Uro. Hope for a land, really. Good stuff. Alright. Let's go Temple first, just in case we like what we see. I do kind of like that. 1, 2, 3. Play this. Yeah, I like Yarok, actually, because it enables the Great... Oh, no. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Enables the Great Henge quite a fair bit, doesn't it? As long as you've got your Uro out. Looking at it with imperfect information. It's fine. I mean, we're playing Muldrotha, so it's kind of going to do the same thing. But just a turn later. Opponent's at 6 mana. Need to be at 8 to do crazy stuff. They've got the Ranging Raptors. They're going to draw a card. If they can deal damage to that, they can get to their early Gishath and Zakama. Whenever an opponent activates the ability of a creature or a land that isn't a mana ability, you may draw a card. Alright, Muldrotha, help. Help me. Help me. Desperately require assistance here. I am failing miserably at stopping our opponent doing their thing. Cherished Hatchling, okay. Draw a card. So we might want to just play an early Scriptures just to get it out of the way. We're going to go with the Great Henge. Could play Yarok. We draw 2 cards from that. We got a land in there. We've got creature and enchantment. We've got an Uro we can cast. And a Maya's Grasp we can cast on, like, Ranging Raptors. Not sure if we care too much to do that. It might just be Yarok. If they go for, like, Gishath, then we Death Touch it. So, double draw off the Great Henge. And then we've got Gilded Goose, double draw off Gilded Goose. And double food. And double counters. See, this could be okay. We've got a nice, decent board state to block with. So Gishath attacking isn't actually really going to do any damage. We've got Cavalier of Night, which if we really wanted to, we can double down on. And I think I'm just perfectly happy to double block here with... Well, actually, we don't even need to double block with Gishath here. We can just block with Yarok. I don't think you want to do that, opponent. So opponent deals 0 damage with Gishath, so he goes back to the command zone doing nothing but trading off a Yarok I can recast, and then I just block your ranging raptors, and they get a land for that, sure, but I get it off the board, which is probably more important to me. So now we just play Yarok again out of the graveyard. Double down on Great Henge triggers. Got Witching Well. Let's go with... See, I don't know if Phyrexian Scriptures is really what we want to do here. Being that they've got Zakama and you can destroy artifacts and enchantments. I think maybe we just cast a Maya's Grasp and kill Cherished Hatchling. When it dies, you may cast dinosaur spells as though they had flash and they can fight. Well, let's just stop that from occurring. Since you not got the mana for it. Go a Raska Relic. And let's just do Witching Well. Double Scry 2 for the perfect answer. Risen Reef's pretty good for like mass card draw. And I don't think we care about Tranquil Thicket, so we'll put that to the bottom. So we're going to draw Risen Reef next turn, which is going to get double triggers off the Great Henge, double triggers off the Yarok. You've not got a Haster. Although, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They do, actually. But we got the Yarok. It costs them their entire turn. I'm going to keep Gilded Goose back just in case. Just to be on the safe side. Because they can do a lot here. So they're going to go with Zakama. Alright, we're going to kill Zakama. But they do get a lot of value here. They get to untap, draw a card, and then sink all of their mana into killing a lot of stuff. They get to basically machine gun down my entire board state. Savage Stomp. Yeah, not much we can do about that. To the command zone, please, Muldrotha. We do have the Eldest Reborn. I don't necessarily see it being what we want to do here. Huntmaster gives haste, but not right now. Sunwing makes our creatures tapped. Marauding Raptor triggers off enraged stuff, but shuts down a few cards in their deck. They've got Great Henge now as well. They are going off. There is no doubt about that. Looks like they're gonna kill my Great Henge. Yep, sure. It's rude, but we'll live with it. And then they pass. We've got nothing to do, so we're just gonna untap. I want all the mana I can possibly muster here, I think. Alright, this puts them into play tapped, right? It does. So if we went with Muldrotha, we've got 4 mana to work with. Which we can then go with Great Henge out of the yard. Into something nice, maybe. Let's see. Maya's Grasp. Problem is they can just take out all of our stuff. It's really bad. Artifact, Great Henge. I think we just go Risen Reef. Ah, there we go. That's a good card. Draw. Ghost Form's very good. Okay, and then we're going to pass. And see what our opponent can do. So if we can attach Ghost Form to Muldrotha, then she's locked out. Locked into this game forever, but we're probably not going to be able to do that for exactly this reason. Just get rid of Muldrotha. This time... It's a tough one. I think we're putting her in the graveyard because we got Find. It's not that high impact of a card right here. And then they can kill the Great Henge if they really wanted to. 3 damage to Risen Reef, sure. We've only got 1 red mana left, so they can only do 3 more damage. But they can just kill my artifacts, which is fine-ish. Now, we'll block the Karma. If they give me the opportunity, I think they know that they shouldn't. I'm gonna have to Murderous Ride the Karma, though, because he's a huge problem. It's a really good draw from us. Alright. Murder that naughty boy. There he goes. Alright, and then we're going to find Muldrotha and Risen Reef back. And go back to hand with Muldrotha. Play Muldrotha. Then going to play Woodland Cemetery, cast an artifact, which is going to be the Great Henge. And then we got a little bit of card advantage engines going. Dealt with a big boy. It's just a shame we couldn't pump up Muldrotha prior to her coming down. So then this would have been cheaper and we'd have been able to like Risen Reef or something like that. But I think this is fine. All it's going to take is us resolving Kai's Ghost Form, and we should be okay. There's Gishath, okay? If they want to do the same again as last time, where they run it straight into a Yarok and gain only 1 card by the looks of things, and that's totally fine by me. Ripjaw Raptor gets pinged by the Marauding Raptor and draws a card. I guess if they trigger the Marauding Raptor and Great Henge together, there's not a lot that actually dies in their deck to Raptor here, which is cute. Damage would be dealt to another dinosaur, prevent all but 1. Well, Death Touch says all but 1 is enough to kill, so that's fine. This is getting out of hand. We do really need to fire off this Scriptures, I think. And get that sorted. Commune with dinosaurs, and that's essentially their turn. I don't think they're going to attack here, but I suppose you never really know. Atali, Primal Storm. Wowie. Alright, do you attack? They do, so they get to look at 1 card, deal me 10 damage. That's fine. It's better than 8 cards. We gain 1. Yay! Alright, Gishath triggers. It is not a dinosaur, so they don't get it. And then Raptor Hatchling. Oh, this is 2 damage, actually, so yeah, they can't actually order Raptor Hatchling in a way where it survives, so it's going to go to a 2-2 and die. Oh, it's all but 1 because of the Altasaur. Oh, we are comboing now, ladies and gents. Look at that. It's beautiful. Alright, gain some life. Untap. Let's get the Phyrexian Scriptures underway. So, ready to blow up the board. Turning, now then, what do we want to do here? Because I kind of think maybe Cavalier on Muldrotha when she's got a ghost form might be the play. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I would want to order this differently to keep my Cavalier around, I think, but this is okay. We'll just put a counter on Gilded Goose. Am I doing a silly thing? I might be doing a silly thing. This won't die. We still have the cast enchantment available. So now we go Cavalier of Night. Comes into play tapped, unfortunately, but we can sack Muldrotha to the graveyard, triggering Ghost Form, bringing it back, giving us an ability to kill something here. I think it might be the Altasaur, because it's stopping us from killing things. Though they are going to die anyway, so we could bring back, kill the Sunwing, so Muldrotha comes into play untapped. We can just Vraska and minus on that, though, instead. Maybe it's Marauding Raptor. No, I think we're getting rid of the Altasaur. I think we can take the hit next turn. Could even be the Huntmaster, honestly. Maybe that's something we should be killing. And draw a card. Yeah, I'm playing a little bit sloppy here, guys. I apologise for that. Let's go Ghost Form on Muldrotha, so she survives the Phyrexian Scriptures. Drowned Catacombs and Vraska, stopping our opponent from hasting with the Huntmaster. You can always cast Vraska from the graveyard later. And that's it, we're going to hold back for damage prevention here. So if they commit anything, it's going to die. So if they're making a swing here, they really want to be trying to go for lethal, but Phyrexian Scriptures is going to make that a problem if they don't have Thrashing Brontodon. Yeah, they're going all in. Minus the Ripjaw Raptor? Oh, you want to kill Vraska? That's fine. I actually want you to kill Vraska, because then you're not dealing damage to me. Okay. So, let's kill the cost reduction. Take a little bit of extra damage off the Ripjaw Raptor for that. I think it's worth it. Just get it out of the way. I think I'd rather them not get card draw from us blocking there and increase the odds of them finding Thrashing Brontodon or other enchantment removal. Alright, there goes the board. So non-artifact creatures get destroyed. So we get to keep our Gilded Goose. Our Muldrotha goes to the graveyard and back. And then we get to reanimate an Uro as well. Thanks to Le Cavalier. How many cards we got left? That's a concern. 27, alright, we're doing okay. Opponent floating mana. Gitrog monster. Eat to extinction, solid. Love that answer. Okay. From here. I don't know why they floated with Great Henge. Making me a little bit concerned. Let's go with... That's a tough call. I think Enchantment, Kaya's Ghost Form. That's our first guaranteed play, really. Save Muldrotha under all circumstances. I guess we could go Ashiok and Spark double Ashiok for the lulls. I do enjoy doing things for the lulls. So let's have double... double Planeswalker deck Ashiok. Let's exile loads of stuff from their deck. Less dinos they've got to hit with Gishath, the better. Yeah, there goes Golter. That would have been a rough one. Ooh, this one comes back with the ability to just reanimate right away. So I could actually steal their Golter. Oh, there's a Karma, but he doesn't give us access to too much. We only get the Destroy Artifact or Enchantment part, which is not irrelevant. We don't get to untap either. Caster's Land. Don't know if we've got any lands to fetch. I think we've got an island, at least. An island and a swamp. Okay. I think I'm just gonna mull over their stuff. Although I can actually play creature, right? Yeah, so actually reanimate. I'm just gonna take their Zakama because it's cool. Take your Zakama before it goes. It's mine now. Got Thrashing Brontodon. And then we'll cast Spark double. Making another Ashiok. Steal your Golter. There he is. Okay. I guess we're looping this all over again. So now we got a Golter. And, opponent's had enough. Okay. Alright, Ashiok, Sculptor of Fears. Bit of juicy tech right there with Spark Double. Love to see it. Didn't actually go into playing this card, knowing that might be the case, but certainly worked out. So I think the verdict on this deck is that it's pretty decent. We got a pretty reasonable win rate, I would say. All positives. I think the Gitrog monster is a bit of a disappointment, though. I'd probably try to fit maybe more removal into the deck. I think card draw is definitely not a problem with this list, so yeah, I think removal's maybe what you want a little bit more of. So I think maybe Gitrog monster could get replaced with something like Vraska's Contempt. It's not something that synergizes necessarily with Muldrotha, but having another Eat to Extinction effect might be worthwhile. Maybe I'm forgetting a permanent that deals with Planeswalkers. If there is one, then definitely want to go and put that kind of into the deck. But yeah, really love this deck. It's a lot of fun to pilot. There's lots of stuff to do. And even as I'm playing it now, I'm doing things for the first time with this list. There's just so many options that you've got available to you. And now we've got Ashiok Spark Double, so we can just reanimate like several times in a game. So we get Ashiok killed if we really want the other one to do its thing. Otherwise, we just Spark Double Ashiok and reanimate every turn. For 4 mana. 4 mana reanimate whatever we want. Seems good. And then we're doing it from our own graveyard anyway with Muldrotha, so it's absolutely glorious. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It's going to be a pretty long one, actually. Got carried away with the video on this one. But yeah, if you really enjoyed this one, then make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, let me know what you are playing in the historic queue. I'm going to be playing this for a few days, so expect a lot of historic content over the next few days, for sure. I'm going to make the most of this Memoir of Death. Maybe if we all play it and get together and they see that a lot of people are playing this event, we'll see it more often. That's the hope, at least. We'll see if anything comes from that. But yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, let me know what you're playing, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.